Uh, well, I'm a Wisconsinite through and through.
And I know about
So,
that. My brother lived in Wisconsin for a long time, and I have two nephews that are Wisconsinites, and they were living in La Crosse, where there's a bar literally on every
mhm.
single corner, maybe a couple bars on every single corner. But
So they
anyway,
get it.
sorry, sorry.
No, that's every town in Wisconsin, right? That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's honestly
yeah, it's
the
a big
joke.
dring state for sure.
The
it's the
joke
culture.
is you go to any town in Wisconsin and there's at least 4 bars and a church.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's so growing up, my dad is also an alcoholic. He's been sober for 25 plus years.
Hmm.
I think he's closer to 30 now. Um, he just quit, and then he's a very private person, so he's always kept his emotions and everything kind of to himself. So I grew up knowing that it was a part of my family, but it's not something we talked about.
Yeah.
I just knew
Mhm.
my dad never drank, and I knew that he had problems controlling how much that he consumed. So I like going through high school. I First time I drank was my senior year. Um, I was scared to get caught, scared to miss sports, but also like just knowing that like that's there in my family, so more than likely it's gonna be me. Uh, but then I went to college, and I grew up in a small town, knew everybody, went to school with the same people from kindergarten till we graduated senior year. Like, I'm not even joking, the same 80 kids. Like, I
Hmm.
graduated with 100 people. There was maybe 20 people in and out. I would say that would be a high number. It was probably less than that. And so I knew everybody from when I was a kid, but
Mhm.
then you s- when you have to start to make friends, you have to start to take care of yourself. Um, Alcohol was something that it was easy to start to open up with people, and I would drink a lot. Uh, Obviously, you know all the deals. Like, Tuesdays you go to this bar, Wednesdays you go to this bar, all the cheap deals. The problem was after college, I kept doing that. I learned that after a little while that I had to cut it down, and I ended up moving to a new city because I just couldn't kind of control it. My life wasn't going in a great. It was not. It was headed downward where I
Hmm.
was, and that's because it was just so accessible. So I moved to Madison, and starting over, kind of trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. And then I finally realized that I wanted to be a lineman, which is what my dad does, which is we work on high voltage power lines.
Hmm.
Um, well, I didn't drink often, but every single time I drank till I was blacked out.
Yeah.
And it was often that I would end up in places that I would have no idea how I got there, didn't necessarily know where my clothes were, where's my car, kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
I hated that.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I went home with some friends, and it was right after I graduated line school, and I was trying to get a job in the career. And in this career, I know I'm going to be on call 24/7, and I know that I'm going to have to really cut back on my drinking. And at this point, I'm thinking I'm going to have to stop. I got really, really drunk with my friends, and I ended up like leaving them and going with a bunch of other people. And I remember being at this house party and just trying to drink all of the alcohol. I mean, they had like $10 vodka, 175, and
Hmm.
I'm just taking pulls out of it. And I'm already blacked out. Like, I remember flashes of coming into it. And that was the next day I had a hangover that I could not keep anything down until midnight the day after.
Mm.
Um, and I was supposed to be back in Madison to do something with my girlfriend, who's now my wife. And I texted her. I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. She's like, yeah, I figured you wouldn't. And that's when it hit me. Like, I'm an unreliable person. I wake up in the mornings wondering who I have to forgive today. I look in the mirror. I don't like who I am. I've respected the person I was in high school more than I respect this
Oh yeah.
person right now.
Yep.
Mm, yeah.
And if I wanted a career, if I wanted a family, I was going to have to make a change, and that change was going to have to be to go sober. So I kind of followed in my dad's footsteps a little bit. The only person I told was my girlfriend that, hey, I'm going to try to go sober. And I ended up telling one of my best friends, and luckily I told him because um, he kind of made it so that everybody, when we were hanging out with our other friends from high school, our old drinking buddies, he made them know, hey, he's serious. He needs this. Do not pressure him. And like he was kind of like, he was the muscle to kind of help me get through those pressures because I don't know if I would have gotten through those pressure, especially
Right.
in the early days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's kind of like the backstory. I mean, I fell into the Wisconsin drinking culture pretty hard, and
Oh, yeah.
it took a lot to get out of it. So, um, for the first 5 years or so, I honestly didn't even look into why I drank the way I
Right.
drank. Didn't go to therapy or anything. I just through sheer stubbornness, which through the fault of myself
Mm-hmm.
didn't help me at all, but it worked.
Yeah.
Um, I made it through there, but since I've went to therapy right before we started the podcast, and since we started the podcast, I mean, same as you, it really has transformed my recovery.
Yeah.